Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Celtic Unrestricted View. I'm JP. How are we all? Hope you are all well. Well, indeed, we are back. It is the aftermath from yesterday. We were on, myself, Alan, and William Glavin, man from True Tactics, and we gave you a breakdown of what we could expect potentially from young boys last night and how things were going to be shaping up. Well, how did it shape up? How did we go? How did it all unveil? Well, what a night it was at Paradise. Wasn't it just, folks? The atmosphere was electric. We walked into the stadium last night and the place was buzzing. You just knew something was kind of special, in my opinion, ready to happen. And we never, in my opinion, we never let down. We never let that down at all. And we never let the fans down and never let the whole event down. We'll touch on the football as we go. Got some commenters in the comments. Good morning, Pork Chop Express. Hope you're well, pal. Big Dom also. Good morning. How are we? That's all about it, folks. Let us know your thoughts on last night's events as we go. And I'll do my best. If anybody's got any questions or anything at all you want me to answer or you want to have a look at, let me know. And I can also have a wee look at that as well. Pork Chop again, looked like it was going to be one of them nights. 3 cracking goals chopped off. And again, by a weird goal to say the least. Yeah, in all honesty, the first half last night, our football was exquisite. Absolutely exquisite. That's some of the best football I've seen Celtic play this season. You look at the way we passed the ball, the intensity we played at. I thought our 2 centre-backs last night were colossal. I really did. You look at the contrast to the big talk with Austin Trusty up at Dundee, and I think we can now say that was just a bad night for him at the office, and some of those games come along every now and again. But when you take last night into consideration, both of them, they showed strength. The speed of both of them was just unbelievable. The way they carried the ball. And the way that they also played through the lines. But what William was telling us yesterday was young boys, they created gaps for us to play into. And I thought that all happened. But yeah, Big Rab also, hail to yourself, mate. Hope you're well. Hope you enjoyed last night. Also, folks, let me know in the comments who was there. Were you at the game last night? And if so, what was your take on last night's events? Big Dom, for all the possession and attempts to score, we deserved a bit of luck for the goal. But what a pass from Matati. Yeah, it was an unbelievable pass. Lovely wee shift of footing as well. When he does a wee kind of double take, doesn't he? He goes to stop and then he flicks it with his other foot and he just dummies the boy that was chasing after him. I quite liked their number 3, the boy that was out in their left fullback. I think a guy beside me, he says he looked like one of the UFC fighters. Oh God, I can't remember his name now. But apparently, he's done very well for that team. I think his name, I'm going to get his name, in fact, folks, while I'm chatting here. I thought he was very good. I thought he was very calm in the ball. And I thought he did very well. I thought there was times last night where he had to defend well against Kuhn. And yeah, I really thought this lad's got something about him. Let's see, what's his name? He's Algerian, the lad, and his name's Jaoun Hadjam. That's his name. He was there number 3. He's only 21 as well. A bit of a height about him as well and a bit of physicality. I did like the look of that lad last night. I thought he looked as if he was one of their best players. But yeah, You'll Never Walk Alone, Paradise, Hail Hell. Casper was amazing. Yeah, he was. He was. Casper was amazing last night. I thought he's the best in the business, in my opinion. He's one of the best shot stoppers I've seen. And if you think back to Celtic's good times in the Champions Leagues, we've always had really good goalkeepers at the end of that. You know, Gordon Strachan and Arthur Boric. Neil Lennon had big Fraser Foster. And now obviously Brendan's got Casper. So sometimes it's not about your outfield players. Sometimes you have to do the hard yards, and you've got a goalkeeper that can stand up to the occasion. And I've always said, even on here, I've been very vocal of that. I really feel that, top players bring out top moments. And that was one of them last night for me. That double save was just unbelievable, by the way. Unbelievable. Martin, good morning to you, pal. Hope you're well. Passing was awesome. Casper, clean sheet. Ghost, Hatate, Kalmack, awesome night. Yeah. I thought, I'm going to be honest just now, I thought that Callum McGregor was unbelievable last night, by the way. Especially in the middle of the park. His footwork was frightening. I think there was one where he nutmegged about 2 or 3 of them, and he ran round. He turned them in circles, and he took the mickey. So, yeah, I thought it was excellent. But, going back to yesterday, chatting with William, and William telling us that, how they play, how they set up in transition, I thought it was amazing to watch it all happen, because we had spoke about it yesterday, folks, that this is what they were going to do. I know they changed setup last night, but their overall play hadn't changed. So they were still doing their kind of lacklustre build-up, and they weren't really in a hurry, in my opinion. And as William says, they more looked for crosses into the box. They were never going to play throughs. After about 10 minutes, I realised that they never had the ability to be able to play throughs. What they tried to do was they tried to press us, but their press was way off, because 1 or 2 guys trigger a press, but the rest of them aren't on the same wavelength to then follow that press. And I thought Celtic in the first half were just picking them off, and Celtic started playing into areas that they weren't comfortable in. You look at the right fullback, the boy, what's his name? Is it Afe Kami? Boy, was it right fullback? I actually thought he looked a wee bit like Malik Tillman, that used to play for Rangers. He'd a real fear, a look on his face when Maeda went by him the first time. I don't think he knew just what he was up against when, he seen Maeda in the flesh. It's all right doing video analysis and, he looks fast on a video. But being up close in person, and when Maeda goes by him the first time for fun, the lad looked scared. And that was, the first half was kind of down the side where I sit, and you could really see the boy didn't fancy it. And that became an ongoing thing. Celtic were in all the time because of that one move. And, yeah. Morning, Scott. How you doing, mate? Hope you're well. Hope you did a good night last night if you were there. Nick, how you doing, pal? Morning, JP. Excellent result last night. Got to read the news about Kyogo being close to the exit door. Jota returning would slightly soften the blow. I think it's one of those ones, Nick. We'll need to wait and see what's going on. I think there's a lot of rumours going about just now, and there's loads of hearsay. In terms of the Kyogo thing, mate, that probably looks a bit more promising to be happening. You've got big, big journal pages now releasing information regarding that move. And yeah, I think the Kyogo one, as much as it's going to be a big loss to us, I really think that it's probably time. You know, and this is the thing, and I keep saying, and I keep going back to it, folks. That's why we have a football transfer model, because we continue to replenish, develop, and move on. And I think Kyogo, I'm actually surprised, Nick, to be fair, how long Kyogo stayed with us. I thought he'd have been gone before now, mate. He's been that good. So I'm not surprised, because I did think this would be his last season anyway, mate. And yeah, we've got to have a look at that and really trust Brendan to go and bring in the players to. And I don't want to use the word replace, because you bring in another guy who's going to, somebody else will step up and take the mantle. You know, but at one stage we lost Larson. There was loads of people crying and worrying, and you know, the club moves on, and that's what happens in football, and it happens quickly. And somebody else will come in and be the hero, or who knows, maybe Adam Eder turns up and he becomes a hero, but that will happen. Somebody else will take over and be the main man for the fans. Kyogo's been that in his time here, and quite rightly so. I've always said it, because he's the best I've seen since Larson, in terms of what he can do, how he can change a game in that split second. And that's not easy to find that in a player. Obviously, Ange knew what he was buying when he bought Kyogo, but you see this through generations. You see world class coming to your team, but it doesn't happen all the time. That's the thing. But we've always had very good strikers as well. Look at Gary Hooper, you know, Edward, Dembele, so on and so on. You know, so we've always done pretty well in that department. And it might just be time, mate, for the next one to come along and do it. Dom, yeah. I thought he was absolutely immense. I really did. I thought he was brilliant, mate. I thought he was really good. I thought he showed why he was the captain last night. KVN, morning pal, hope you're well. Kuhn was once again last night hiding on that wing. I thought he was terrible. Never wanted the ball. I thought that's a few games now I've seen him do this, especially in Europe. Yeah, that's probably one take you could have on it. I think last night, you know, sometimes you've got to give the opposition a wee bit of credit as well and say they've done their homework on him. You know, there was moments of quality that couldn't produce for us last night and got us in and around their goal, and he eliminated people just with his movement. And when he was coming inside and, you know, doing that inverted job for us, he was bringing 2 and 3 of their players away that manipulated a move for Celtic. Not necessarily couldn't be involved there, but just that actual movement. So it opens up a passage for, like, say, Alistair Johnson playing the ball into Engels and vice versa. So sometimes I think Celtic fans look at Kuhn and go, you're not beating people, you're not skinning people, you're not running by people, but he's actually doing a lot more in the team than what people actually think. I think Kuhn done a lot of running last night for Celtic. There was a couple of under-hit passes by Alistair Johnson last night as well. You know, but I always try and look at the other side of things as well. I don't necessarily try and stick to, you know, he was terrible. Yeah, he probably didn't have his best game, but he was still well involved, and he still created moments for the team that maybe, you know, to the eye and the fans, they're maybe not seeing that because they're too used to seeing him being on the ball and eliminating people and running by people, but he was doing something else for the team. And I've always said, see if you're not having the best of games, right? In my opinion, if I was a coach, if you're not, I'm looking for my players to still be a good teammate. And I don't like that word hiding, if I'm honest, because that implies that he's not trying, and that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. He was well involved. He was just doing other things that he couldn't get involved with the ball, but he was doing other things that he was able to then affect the game just with his running power alone, i.e. creating space and making moves for other players to get into space to collect the ball. Also, you look at the running power of Arne Engels. A lot of Celtic fans seem to think that Arne Engels doesn't do very much. But his running power is unbelievable for this team. The way he gets up and down the field. There was one last night, he chased the ball. I think it was either Alistair Johnston or it was Cameron Carter-Vickers that played an under-hit pass. And that went to the middle of the field over towards the dugout. And it was an empty space, but the young boys player was running in. I think it was Lacombe. It was running through to get it. And Engels was at the other side of the field, but he sprinted full pelt and slid in and won the ball. And it set us on a move. Couldn't acres of room to run into after this happened. So, again, you know, people go, Engels isn't he? I think people think Engels is this world-class playmaker and we paid 11 million for him to be playing defence, splitting passes and doing it. But you've got to be doing other things for a team in modern day football. You can't just be, no, you're not just going to stand and look good when the ball comes to you. You need to work hard when you've not got the ball. Yeah. So it's all about a collective now, more than just an individual game now. Years ago, people, you know, that was a big trouble with Tommy Burns' Celtic team for me, folks. I thought, like, you know, the Canio, Cadet, Tom, you know, it came across back, and I was a young kid, but came across then that those guys were just individuals, you know. And I think if they'd done more as a team, they might have achieved a hell of a lot more. Hail, Harry. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you enjoyed last night, pal. Last night was good. Morning, me man. How you doing? Ryan says, morning all. Still on the day job. Fantastic last night. Brilliant victory. Rodgers was brought to make us better in Europe, and he has. Yes, he has, mate. Yes, he has. There is not enough being said about it. I'm glad you brought it up, mate, because hail to Brendan Rodgers. That's what I say. Because he was brought in for these nights to develop Celtic, to make Celtic better, and he has. So far this season in Europe, we've had 3 wins, 3 draws and 1 defeat. We're undefeated in 5 games now at Celtic Park in the Champions League. Not so long ago, we never even had a record like that. I think we're undefeated since we've been beaten the 7-1 game in Dortmund as well. We're now undefeated, including getting results with Atalanta, who are just battering teams out the way, and also thumping an RB Leipzig team at Celtic Park as well, along with other results that we've had as well. So, yeah, mate, it's been brilliant watching us. It's been good to watch a team grow, though, Ryan. You know, and you're watching it happening in front of our very eyes. You've got guys like Cameron Carter-Vickers, Greg Taylor, Callum McGregor, Rio Watati, Daisen Maeda, Kyogo, and then you know, Alistair Johnston, Liam Scales. These guys have all grew in their games, and they've all, you know, James Forrest has been there as well. He's been a big part of it. But the great thing about this is, Ryan, they've managed to keep the nucleus of a team together for the last 3-4 years to build on what we're now seeing. So, yeah, it's been excellent, mate. It really has. It's been brilliant watching it. And Aye, long may it continue. Nick Conley, I agree, JP. I'd be more comfortable losing him in the summer, though. The club moves on, though, mate. Yeah, 100%, mate. The Kyogo thing, yep, 100%. We can't stay static. That's the nature of it. We can't stay still. We've got so much going for us that we just, and the way we work as a football club, it just won't allow us to stay static. Good morning, Anjem. Hope you're well. Good morning to Leo. How you doing, mate? Hope you're well. Yeah, I can't wait either, mate. That'll be excellent. I think that'll be tremendous and a great achievement again from the club. But yeah, every player does have a sell by date. Yep. All players have got shelf lives at football clubs. It happens all over. But when you do have, Dom, when you've got a transfer model and a recruitment model the way we have, it massively helps, mate. It really massively helps towards that. So yeah, I want to touch on obviously Rio Watati, because as I was on yesterday with William and Alan, I did say that, you know, if Watati did well, then I'm going to be one of the ones to hold my hands up and say, right, wee man, well done. And that time has now come. So I want to say a massive well done to Rio Watati. I thought he was the main man in the pitch last night for us. I thought everything he did. I think I seen somebody put a photo up and it was Pirlo, Alessandro Pirlo. And it says in the caption below it, Rio Watati, when he's in the mood, talking about being Pirlo. And I thought he was absolutely tremendous last night. I really, really did. Everything he did. I mean, that, you talk about his passing ability. Not just that ball. He played another one where he switched to play from one side to the next, right onto Maeda's chest. And he just did it. I mean, he did it without breaking sweat or without blinking an eye. And it was tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. And yeah, it was brilliant to watch. Yeah, he played another good pass. P. McLaughlin, yeah. He played another good pass in the first half to Kyogo. Yeah, it was a sublime pass through the lines. And that's what he can give you. That's what he can give you. That's what he does when he's like that. But I was happy for him as well, because he's took a lot of stick from the Celtic fans, Hatate. You know, he was being compared to guys like Cham and other players, etc. And I just felt that last night he went out and he grabbed the game with the scruff of the neck, along with Callum McGregor. But I just think watching the three last night, the way they move, the way they drift, the way they talk to one another, it just looks brilliant when it all falls into place with the three, because Engels is a running machine. He's a powerhouse. He's got a bit of physicality about him as well. He showed that with that slide tackle and one or two other moments last night where he forces a couple of mistakes over towards the north stand last night, just before he comes off the pitch, actually. And I noticed last night as well, I don't know if MD's been made aware of this or MD knows, I noticed last night when he walked off, he was limping. I don't know if he's taken a sword one in one of the tackles. But again, that just shows he's, fighting for the cause. And people get bogged down with a transfer a transfer fee and go, what's he done? You know, a lot of people are talking about Ida being lazy. Look at that running. Look at the run he makes for that, for what turns out to be the winner. The run is unbelievable. I mean, the yard he covers to get, and then his body movement, so clever to get his cell in front of the defender, knowing that any contact, it's a penalty. And he was unlucky with the shot, but obviously a bit fortunate with the ball comes off the defender and it goes in. And, tremendous, absolutely tremendous. The run was unbelievable. And again, these are guys that, you know, really, really, these are guys that really, they get a doing off a Celtic fans sometimes. You know, so I always like to be mindful when they do well, to acknowledge it as well, because there's no point in just acknowledging when they give the ball away or when maybe they hit the bar or they hit the post and he doesn't score. And I think just see that emotion feeder when he runs over to the Celtic fans and he grabs the guy grabs him and he cuddles him, and you just hear everybody that was there last night will know what I mean. When you hear the place go nuts like that, in my opinion, that's why Adam Ida was brought to the football club, because he has that impact. And by the way, that's not easy by any means at all. Nobody can just go on that part and do that and have that impact. But Adam Ida gives you that. He brings that. And I think that's been an element of frustration this season, because he's not brought though. But who knows, guys and girls, that could kick him on. And I really hope it does, because I have backed Adam Ida for day one. For the time he came here, William Glavin again yesterday, brilliant insight, folks. He says, in a January window, you can either do two things when you sign a striker. You can either go and spend big money, or you go and you sign a striker that isn't playing games, isn't getting first team football, and maybe isn't first choice at his club. But he's young, he's hungry, he's wanting to develop, he's wanting to do well. And you bring him in. Similar to what we did with Edward. Edward wasn't playing at PSG. But he had qualities that fitted the way we play. Anybody doubting Adam Ida? I mean, Adam Ida's got that in abundance. It's now, can we get it out of him game after game? And I think moments happen, folks, in games. And I really, really think that could be Adam Ida's moment last night. I really, really do. I'm surprised the own goal wasn't offside or a foul in some way. Yeah, mate, it did seem as if the kind of game was going that way. Especially in the first half, just every decision you were like, oh, here we go. I think there was a shout for a penalty before we got the penalty. Was it a push on Maeda? Yeah, so. Oh, that's nice. Let me know if any of you have got a coffee. That's lovely, that one. Yeah. Ryan, Ida needs to do more, JP. We praise him for last night and hope he can kick on, but he's not been good enough so far this season. He must improve, and hopefully he will now kick on. Listen, I think everybody's, again, Ryan, I think a lot of people get bogged down, mate, with transfer fees and everything else. I think when you sign a guy for that amount of money, you're wanting him to come in. I think the Celtic fans have got in their heads that he needs to score 25, 30 goals. Sometimes, as I said at the beginning, mate, sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you need to do other things as well. And I think Brendan's obviously highlighted that he doesn't need his strikers to score 40 or 50 goals or whatever it may be. He needs them to contribute. And for me, I can see what Adam Ida brings this Celtic team. And You are bang on, mate. I do think the last wee while, he's 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 maybe no done as well. Maybe, and who knows, Ryan? Maybe that was down to confidence. Maybe that was down to, maybe he had the cold. I don't know. Maybe he's had some sort of virus working on him. We don't know. But last night, mate, what was evident to me was his energy levels was night and day for where it was when he jumps at a goalkeeper up at Dens Park. Night and day. So, and the way he spoke after the game as well, it was like, right, okay, he's woke up here. Yeah, no, listen, Ryan, I think no more than Adam will be disappointed, mate, for himself, because all strikers want to score. I mean, that's not a hidden secret. But I do think that in terms of hard work, mate, I don't think MD can question that for the big fella. You see it last night as well. And yeah, right, Ryan, he's also got to be praised for that last night, because he came on and he impacted the game, mate. I mean, it's okay saying Hatate with a great ball, but that run that he makes to get on the end of it, and then the movement to get his body in and muscle the defender away and make sure he's in front of the defender, that takes a good bit, mate. And yeah, a lot of people have questioned his fitness level as well, and maybe that has been the case. Maybe like I've always said, pre-season for him there was a stop-start kind of affair. And he was obviously unawares whether he was going to get his move to Celtic or not, and there's loads of rumours flying about, and he was missing flights and missing training and missing games, but yeah, Rob, yeah, I agree with that, mate. I agree. He changed the game, mate. Again, he gives you that focal point. So when he comes on, he changed the game. The wee man, unfortunately, it came to the point in the game where it was probably right to take him off. Kyogo maybe just wasn't affecting the game at that point. Don't get me wrong, the wee man, he's probably been raging. He's not his hat trick in the first half, but yeah, Rob, Greg Taylor was top notch for me last night, mate. He was absolutely top notch, mate. Yeah, I know he's another one, Rob. It takes a lot of stick for Celtic fans, mate. He actually went through the walls last night, mate. He took a couple of bangs, and I thought he was coming off at half time. I don't know if anybody noticed this, but he was holding the bottom of his back as he walked off. I think he walked off with I think it was a Benito boy, the young boy's captain that he walked off the pitch with, and he was chatting away with him, but he was holding his back. And then Liam Scales came out and he was warming up on his own before the rest of the team came out. But no, I thought Greg Taylor was very good last night, mate. His distribution was excellent. His passing was very good. His movement, his body movement, he skinned that big. The boy Males, the lad Males that was up against him, he skinned him a few times. And that boy had a ton of speed. So, yeah, he was superb. Seen a few comments here talking about the two boys at the centre back. The two of them are colossal. As I said at the beginning this morning, the two of them are absolutely tremendous. Yeah. And by the way, that's another clean sheet. Another clean sheet at Celtic Park in the Champions League. I actually think who was the last team to score against us in the Champions League at Celtic Park? Club Brugge, and even that was an OG. But yeah, I mean, that's Feyenoord last season, end of last season. Leipzig of good result against Club Brugge, who, by the way, have done very well. They drew the other night with Juventus. It's a very, very tough competition. You know? It's a very, very tough competition. And I don't think a lot of people realise how tough it is. But yeah, it's football's elite. And a lot of people wrote young boys off, and they'd says they were poor. They're going through a massive transition just now. But they are. I mean, somebody says yesterday in the comments they beat Galatasaray home and away to reach the Champions League. And that's not an easy thing to do either. But yeah, as I said, I seen a comment there. I don't know who. Some comments came in afterwards. I've seen someone say that that's okay now. We don't need to sign Kieran Tierney because Greg Taylor played well. I don't know. I can't remember who it was that said it there in the comments. But that wasn't the point I was referring to. Yeah, Nick, I seen that this morning when just before I came on live. I did see that, buddy. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Why not? Why not? Why not? He's adding quality. He's given his strength, and yeah, he's very he's world class. KT's world class. I don't care what anybody says. My understanding is he came on for Arsenal last night as well, and seemingly did very well. You just got to look at the reaction from the Arsenal supporters and what's going on down there with them about the news of him coming back. And yes, it's tremendous, absolutely tremendous. Yeah, it's just great news for us to have someone of that quality. Listen, by the way, make no bones about that as well. This will kick this team on. That news and that level of player coming to this team. We have now got a back. We're going to potentially have a back four, well, a back five if you count Kasper Schmeichel. So you've got Kasper Schmeichel, Kieran Tierney, Alistair Johnston, and Cameron Carter-Vickers, and arguably Austin Trusty, because they have all played in the Premier League in England, and that's going to be our backline very, very soon. So yeah, and then obviously Greg Taylor, who has been a remarkable servant for Celtic, and he's done very, very well. He has elements of quality about him as well. You don't play the amount of games for Celtic as he's done if you don't have something about you. He's played under more than one manager. Also, I think that's 3 managers Greg Taylor's now had at Celtic. They can't all be wrong, because he's been a sort of mainstay with the 3 managers. In my opinion, Ange Postecoglou changed the way Greg Taylor plays. And for that, Greg Taylor, he's been... Yeah, he was, the Celtic fans seem to have a go at Greg Taylor. And, and they say that he's not good enough at that level, And as Brendan says, you could add about 100 players to that. But last night, he never looked out of place. He never looked out of place last night. and that's been more than one game now this season. Greg Taylor's done very, very well. I'm going to, the Leipzig game included. He actually gets his second goal, just with the way he jumps, the way he pressures the ball, wins the ball, and then puts the cross in, and we score. So, I mean, Greg Taylor's proven that he, through time, he's been a great servant coming through Kilmarnock, and he's always been looked at and compared to Kieran Tierney. And but yeah, listen, Kieran Tierney coming back by no means that's the end of Greg Taylor, because that won't happen. Celtic play a lot of games. Kieran Tierney will play some, Greg Taylor will play some. I hope we can keep Greg Taylor. If we don't, someone else will come. And that's the way it'll happen. Best of luck to Alex Valle. Obviously, Alex will probably move on now if we are going to sign Kieran Tierney. I thought he done very well again last night when he came on. Morning, Alan. How you doing, big fella? Hope you're well. Hope you enjoyed last night as well, big guy. I'll just let you know now. Alan and Ryan will be on the channel tomorrow morning. Probably around about the same time, probably about 11:ish. And they'll be taking in their events on last night, and then looking forward to the Dundee game at the weekend. I want to touch on Kasper Schmeichel, obviously signing his new contract. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, about what you feel about Kasper and how he's done for the club. So, in my opinion, we have signed a better goalkeeper than our hero from last season in Joe Hart. Now, Joe Hart was tremendous. Absolutely tremendous for Celtic. Another great servant. Gave us 3 brilliant years. 3 successful seasons as well. But just the way we want to play, Kasper fits the bill tenfold. Even last night, I mean, some of his passes last night, when they're trying to press us, and there was one in the first half where he just clips it into Greg Taylor, and it was brilliant because Taylor plays a quick ball to Austin Trusty. Trusty plays it into Hatate, and Hatate by the outside of his boot just reverse passes it into Taylor, and Taylor's going down the line and plays it into Maeda, and we were away. It was like 3-4 passes, we were in their half. And it was brilliant to watch, and that all comes for the goalkeeper and the way that he plays. And there's been moments like that at the weekend there. He had the right idea and what he was trying to do. He just wasn't putting enough execution on his passes, but sometimes that'll happen as well. Sometimes sometimes you're not always going to have the perfect game. But again, he's a top level goalkeeper. And I don't think folk understand how important Kasper is for this team. Not only that as well, he's a massive leader for this group. I would imagine Kasper gives Callum a big hand, in terms of, he leans on him for experience and everything else. And the fact that, he's Denmark's captain. He's still playing at the top level. So, the one... Ian, how you doing, pal? Hope you're well. What a signing Kasper has. Them saves last night were world class. They were, mate. But the one right at the death, big moment in the game. But the one right at the death, it was more comfortable than what you think. And what I like about him as well is he takes the pressure off when needed. He takes the that wee bit of needle when things are. He doesn't hurry things. he uses the experience and he takes it. Like he done it in Atalanta with spells in that game, you know, where they were just coming at a goal and we were defending. No playing throughs or anything. They had a couple of shots at goal, but there was moments in the game when he fell on the ball and relaxed. He knew the clock was running down, and you could see Atalanta getting frustrated by it. And that's what you've got there in that goalkeeper. You know, someone who he reads the game brilliantly as well. And I like that about Casper. He knows when to speed the game up and he knows when to slow it down, which is magic. But he's been a top signing. Monty, what are you saying now? You should be a spin doctor for the government, JP. You could sell James McCarthy to PSG. Yeah, mate, that's why James McCarthy's not with Celtic anymore. That's where he is. Well done. Well done, mate. One phone call is all it took. James is away. So, yeah, he's gone, man. And by the way, James thanked me. Yeah, he thanked me well. And he got me some nice tickets for a hospitality. So yeah, but that's why I'm in the position I'm in, mate. Yeah, I mean that is what it is. I mean, you've got to see both sides. You can't just be one-sided with things and then refuse to acknowledge something else. Like if a player doesn't play well, right? The way I run, the way I operate as a fan, I don't jump on it straight away. If it becomes a problem and it's an ongoing thing over a period of games, then fair enough, you can have a say and say, right, but I don't think he's doing very well. But when moments happen in games like last night, and you know, Hatati's getting jumped on with the Celtic fans now because he's put, and then he does what he does last night and he shows that moment of quality. That's why he plays the way he does, because he plays a game on the edge. He's a risk taker in games, and I think Brendan much appreciates, as Big Alan said yesterday, Brendan probably much appreciates the way he does it rather than having him a different way, you know. So, Monty, you feel betrayed that we are selling Kyogo? How come? Why do you feel the way you do? Why do you feel betrayed? Players are always going to go, mate. I mean, we're never ever going to. I mean, he's 30 years of age now. And again, I go back to it. This is a recruitment model Celtic have. You know, you look at it across the water, guys like Ryan Kent, Morelos, etc. When they had good seasons, they never cashed in. And they lost out in money. They lost out in it, you know. And that's why they're in the mess they're in my opinion. Kyogo's 30 now. And if we're offered 10 million, then, you know, that's a serious consideration there. That's a serious, you know, yeah, we could knock it back. We wait through summer. We're going to get that again. Who knows? It's been widely known that Kyogo changed his agency a period of time ago. And yeah, I think you're right, Monty. I do. I've been vocal on here about it, mate. I've said millions of times I think that Kyogo would have went this season anyway. I also think Rio Watati's going to go. I think this could be his last season. But I don't. It's a big gap. 10 million's a lot of money, mate. 10 million's a lot of money, especially at this period of time and his age. And as Ryan says there in the previous comment, that it must mean that there's a replacement coming in, mate, and that's why Celtic operate the way they do as a football club. You know, when an offer comes in for someone, Celtic need to really consider that and say, right, okay. So I'll give you an example, right? If it's the boy that we've been widely rumoured to be want to get, the Danish lads, Fitzgerald, okay? What would you rather, Monty? Would you rather keep Kyogo at 30, run the risk of him going in the summer, but you get less money for him, right? Or would you rather sell Kyogo just now at 10 million? And a side deal to that, nothing to do with the Kyogo deal, potentially bring back Jota. And the club still pay money and go and buy the boys Fitzgerald, who I think's 24, 25, who plays a similar style to Kyogo, similar kind of profile. And, you know, there's surrounding factors as to why this move might also be happening for Kyogo. I do know Kyogo wants to play for Japan at this next World Cup. He is at an age now where he has to really consider that. So there's got to be an element of understanding, you know, where we are. If the club sell Kyogo for 10 million and they bring in Jota as a side deal, not the same, by the way, not the same as it's not going to be part of the Kyogo deal. So as a side deal, that was always going to happen anyway. And then they go and buy this lad's Fitzgerald. This is just, by the way, I don't know anything, right? So before anybody goes, JP, were you onto something there with the, I don't know anything. I'm giving you an example here. Would you rather that happened, or we keep a hold of the Kyogo and we might not get that money, but we might also keep Kyogo and he's unhappy because he might want to move on. He might think it's time to move on. Sometimes you need to weigh it all up, and I do think I'm not fearful of losing Kyogo. Like I say, Larsson left us, and that's what happens in football. JD, there you go, 22. There you go. I was doing the boy a disjustice there with his age. 22. There you go. So he's now 8 years younger than Kyogo. Still with a bit of development in him. And yeah. Another good point there. My fear would be Kyogo goes in a huff and downs tools if he doesn't get the move. Then, as you say, leaves for less anyway. It's all about business. I mean, you know, keep Kyogo and bring Jota in. Yeah, I mean, listen, in an ideal world, mate, that would be perfect. Absolutely perfect. But unfortunately, as I've explained, it's been well documented that Kyogo wants to play in the World Cup. So, in my opinion, knowing football and stuff and the way things happen, I think that might be a possibility, Monty, as to why Kyogo now wants to move on, because he's not getting a game with Japan playing for Celtic. They're selecting Maeda to go. And it's not about the amount of money we've got, Monty. It's not about the amount of money, mate. He's 30 now. And you run the risk of, if you wait longer, you run the risk of not getting that money. I did say to all the lads, even off you here, I've spoke to the lads, Big Barry McCandless, that contributes to the channel when he can, Barry Bannon, I've spoke to all the lads, and some of them have agreed with me, you know, that Kyogo's at an age now where we need to strike now. If we don't strike now, then we run the risk of not getting that amount of money again from him. And it's all about doing what's best for us, not doing what's best for a certain individual or anything else. It's the club. So the club need to look after themselves. And yeah, again, Monty, Larsson played for Sweden in a different era as well. So Larsson was always Larsson was Larsson. He was always going to play for Sweden. Japan, unfortunately, are not picking Kyogo. That wasn't the case with Larsson. Sweden were picking Larsson. But Japan are not picking him. And Kyogo has an ambition, mate, to go and play in the World Cup for Japan. And see, that cultural thing alone, just in that country, that's everything to these guys, Monty. We're being selfish here as Celtic fans by saying, no, we just want to keep him. So, yeah, and so selling Kyogo for 10 million is what's best for Celtic just now, in my opinion, because keeping Kyogo in an opportunity that he might not be the same player, his head might go, that does happen in football now and again as well. So, because we want to keep him, Monty. That's why we're being selfish. We want to keep him. We as Celtic fans want him to stay. But sometimes there needs to be a level of understanding as to why he needs to move on also. And like I say, I knew this was going to be his last season, whether it be January or the summer. And I'm totally fine with what's going to happen. Because I trust Brendan Rodgers and I trust obviously the club to do what's right. And if the man wants to go, again, doesn't matter if it's January or it's the summer, he will go with their blessings, and we will we'll wish him all the best. So, aye, as I say, yeah, and like it says, Kyogo's been tremendous for Celtic. He'll go down in the history books as one of the best. Scored a lot of important goals for us. He came to the club at a time where the club were trying to bounce back from adversity. In terms of we'd lost the 10 in a row and the wee man signed, and it's been remarkable. It has. And that lob, I'll always remember that at Hampden, that lob against Hibs to win us that cup in the cup final. And I think he only played in one leg that day because he was struggling with injury. At the time, we never really had a lot of depth in the squad. And yeah, so well, France is one of the bigger leagues, Monty. So again, he'll probably get more recognition, certainly, than what he would here. So he's not going to get a game for Japan staying here. And I understand that. Listen, I understand why players might want to move on. You know, I can understand why. As I say, it's Scottish football is not the be-all and end-all of football. I think fans become attached to these guys in a way that it's so hard to let them go. But you know, like I say, somebody will come in and we move on. I mean, somebody will come in and well, Atati doesn't get a game. Maeda gets a game because of his running power and his speed. There's nobody in the Japan team got anywhere near that amount of work rate. And well, Hatati doesn't play anywhere near the amount of football that Maeda gets for Japan. Go back and look at all the games Japan have played, and Hatati, the last couple of international breaks, Hatati was taken and he was unused subs all the time. So he doesn't play. No, it's a league. No, it's got nothing to do with his ability, mate. It's a league. It's where Kyogo. It's where Kyogo is playing. Maeda is a different weapon for Japan because of his running power and what he gives Japan. And Japan also have other options in their home country in the centre forward position. That's why Kyogo is not necessarily playing. And that's why, like I says, Kyogo wants to move on because he recognises that very instance. So Maeda plays because he's a running machine. He's not the best technically, but there's nobody like him. Nobody challenges him. No, that's fine. I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm not asking. I'm here to give my take on events. I'm not asking you to agree with me. That's totally fine. I've got no qualms whether you agree or not. That's fine. Listen, what a boring world it would be if we all just nodded to one another and we all say, "Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm fine. That's fine." I don't have any qualms whether you agree with me or no. I'm giving you my take on what I feel. And yeah, that's exactly it. Maeda is a unique type player. There is nobody like him, and that's why he plays for Japan more than the other lads. That's it. Go and look at Japan. If anybody, I mean, don't just take my word for it. Go and have a look. So go and have a look. Go and see, and you'll know why they play him. Go and look at their games. You'll know why Kyogo doesn't play, and you'll know why Hatate does. Maeda does. Hatate gets called up to the squads. There's no doubt about that. But he doesn't play anywhere near the amount of games. No chance. That's the last 2-3 potential international breaks there's been. Hatate's not been played. And the last game Hatate played was a friendly. It was against Peru. That was the last time I seen Hatate playing. So, but moving on. Yeah, Kyogo, listen. Kyogo will be a big loss for Celtic. There is no doubt about it. But again, the club need to do what's right for the club, and we need to move on. We need to move these guys on and strike with the iron hot, as I keep saying. That's our transfer football. That's the football model we have. We're not like them across the water that just allow contracts to run down and let people leave for free. So I still believe Greg Taylor will sign a new deal. Whether he stays with Celtic, that's another thing. But I do think he will sign a new contract. And again, that's the way Celtic operate. Stan Petrov signed a new contract, but he was still always going to move. He was still leaving, regardless. But he got Celtic money. And that's the business. That's why Celtic have got that transfer model. Because Celtic do what's best for them. And what they feel is part of their business model. So, yeah. Yeah, I think they will, mate. I think they will. Yeah, I do. I think they will. I do. If it's just say for talking sake, the boys Fitzgerald, you're talking the best part about 8 to 9 million quid on that lad. I know there's several teams now sniffing about Matthias Fitzgerald. I think Eintracht Frankfurt were rumoured about 3 days ago. And it was widely rumoured because guys like Steve McGowan and other good journalists were putting their name to it. He was widely talked about going to Germany, and other teams in the Bundesliga looking at him. I know Borussia Dortmund were, but Nuri Sahin's been bulleted now, so I don't know if that will materialise. Yeah. But what I would say is, coming into the last week of the transfer window, things always start opening. Doors start to open for you. Clubs start making up their minds on players. And who knows, maybe Celtic will go down the... Yeah, Rab, I know that now, mate. I know that now, pal. But I was just giving that as an example there as to what's been, talked about. And I do think Celtic will pay out a big transfer fee on someone like that. Again, I'm giving him as an example because he's been widely rumoured to be on Celtic's radar for quite a significant amount of time now. I think since last January, actually, maybe. You look at the other lad, Sondre Osagester, he's another one that's been widely reported that, a deal could be close for that as well. So we'll just need to wait and see. But as I said, folks, the last week of the transfer window, that's when things start to open. That's when teams start to come to conclusions of who's going to be part of it, who's not, who's going to be looking to go. And sometimes that's when another Edward might become available, or somebody of that ilk for Celtic to go and get. And but see, to be fair with you, Monty, right, what you're saying there about if Celtic bring in Jota, Tierney and Fitzgerald, you would be delighted, as we all would, right? I do think that's Celtic's purpose, this transfer window. So I think that Celtic were always looking for the attacking side of play this window rather than more the defensive side. But Tierney's an added bonus to that because he can do both. So Tierney's been the one that's probably been the most, I would say, surprising for us all, because he's now become available again and Celtic have struck onto that. And listen, we've beat a lot of clubs to that signature. We really have. You look at the names of teams, West Ham, Leicester, was it Brentford? I think it was. And I saw yesterday there's teams in Europe wanting them as well. I think Real Sociedad tried to revisit it. Sevilla. There was another club, I can't remember if it was Lyon or Marseille. So there's a lot of clubs really looking at Tierney. And Tierney's knocked every one of them back, folks, to come back up the road. And that's why, because he's a massive Celtic fan. And I firmly believe it's because of who we have at the head of our table in terms of Brendan Rodgers. Because I agree that's why we've got Kasper Schmeichel as well. Because of Brendan. Is the tax thing not still in place till the summer for Jota? I don't think it is, no. I was reading about this yesterday. And it was Rahman Bardwa from Scotland Today that put out a report on this yesterday, and he cleared some of it up to say that it's now, the time has now passed and Jota would be able to return to UK football. He never said a team, he just said UK football. And then today, Rahman has put out that he's indeed heard that Celtic are in talks. And like I says, nothing to do with Kyogo. It's a side deal. And also, our good friend of the podcast, who's been on a couple of times now with us, Anthony Joseph, has also reported on Jota in talks to return to the club. So, am I surprised? No, I'm not. Jota made a career move, which he thought was best for him. He moved to Saudi. For a footballing perspective, it never worked out. It never really got going, which was unfortunate. He then comes back over to Europe. I think Rennes paid a good bit of money. I think they paid about €8 million for him. And for some reason, it's just not worked out. And again, I go back to Scott Sinclair when I refer back to this. Sometimes it just doesn't happen for players at different clubs. And we seem to be a good fit for certain types of players. When Scott Sinclair came here, and that's probably, the biggest example I could give as a player coming in and hitting the ground running straight away. That was frightening. Absolutely frightening. So Jota might just be suited to a certain style, and not just that as well. The surroundings. He knows everybody. He left for a financial gain, which is fine. I understand he's a young lad. Was it the right move for him? Probably not in the hindsight move now. But yeah, we now wait to see what happens. And aye. So, Monty, cheers for joining us, mate. Thank you. We'll catch up with you later. But yeah, so who was all there? I've not seen many comments of MD at the game last night. Who was there? I was. Was there anybody in attendance last night at all? The atmosphere was just tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. The fans singing. P. McLaughlin, good man. What did you think of the atmosphere, P. McLaughlin? What did you think? I thought it was tremendous, and I also thought Young Boys, their fans played their part as well in making the atmosphere a good atmosphere. It was good to see they brought quite a bit of an allocation with them as well, which was good. And I don't know if anybody's seen the video of the young lad Joshua, his name is, and they gave him his own kind of thing at the end. I thought that was brilliant, man. I really, really did. They made that wee guy so happy. So if anybody's not came across the video, so basically it's a young lad, his name's Joshua, and you only know that because his dad's videoing him. And he's in the Lisbon Lions stand behind the goal. And he starts walking towards where the segregation bit is, towards the Young Boys fans. And he does that as if, oh, and then they all start jumping for him. And I thought it was tremendous. I really, really did. And yeah, it was brilliant. They made his day, and everybody's picked up on it, like Chris Sutton and Stan Collymore, and there's a lot of guys on Twitter, ex-players and stuff, have all retweeted it and put it out. It was tremendous. It was really, really good. It was, and that, again, folks, that's what these nights are all about, in my opinion. That wee guy's going to get into school today and he's going to tell all his pals, and he's probably been made slightly famous in a way that he's trending on Twitter now with that video, because you hear his dad saying, "Wave to him, Joshua, wave to him," and he kind of just does that, and then they all start jumping and he jumps with them, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely tremendous. And if anybody has an opportunity to see it, go and watch it. It's tremendous, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, mate, it was a tremendous atmosphere. I thought it was brilliant, mate. The way, I've been at games, mate, where the fans are getting annoyed when things aren't happening. After that first half we had, the game's to be out of sight. Celtic were so comfortable. I thought their football was tremendous. I really, really did. Second half, it becomes a wee bit more broken, and not the way we would want a full flow. Yeah. So, but again, it's a Champions League. It's a level that you're not always going to have it your own way, and but it was absolutely tremendous. It was brilliant, and what a night! And it's put us now in a position where both on the field and off the field, we are now in a very, very good place. I also think, folks, that this now will kick on this Celtic team. Again, you talk about moments. I think that now will set this Celtic team up now for the season and let them kick on. And I think I do think, we'll go on now and we'll have a comfortable and a very successful season either way. How you doing, pal? Hope you're well. That ref was an absolute tool. What do you mean by that? But in terms of, is there anything particular that you didn't agree with the referee, or how do you mean? In terms of the offside decisions and stuff like that, they got them spot on. Listen, these guys don't. You noticed it last night as well, even with the goal we scored and it got checked again with VAR. That was a foul by Callum McGregor. I mean, you can clearly see. And these guys don't mess about. The VAR and that the semi-automated thing for offsides and stuff, that's it's a state-of-the-art technology, and it allows to have these decisions sped up, But yeah, I didn't have any qualms at all about any of the decisions last night. I thought they were all bang on, and I love the way they didn't mess about. He gets sent over to the monitor quickly. He does that, and then he goes over and he comes back on, and the goal was disallowed. I thought it was a foul initially when I saw it. I thought I knew that was going to get pulled back. So I'd said that to a couple of guys behind me. I said, I think that will get pulled back. So obviously every little soft tackle Celtic gave, he was itching to give Celtic a card. Like the one for Kuhn, Daffy challenge, young boys let them away with murder. The one with Kuhn, man, I mean, that's as cynical as it comes. 100%. I mean, I don't think anybody can argue that that's not a yellow card. He just takes a guy out. There's no intent whatsoever to try and win the ball. I thought that was it. Again, I thought that was the right decision. Dom, the foul on Maeda was a penalty. Yeah, I thought that myself, mate. When I seen it, I thought that myself. But obviously that wasn't given, and then obviously the Greg Taylor one, he's just hauled to the flare with the back of the neck of his top. So I've seen mixed comments about the VAR, and Nick, I did. I read that, mate. Yeah, I thought that was excellent. I really did. That's exactly how, for me, we are behind the times, mate. That's exactly the way things should happen with VAR. They didn't mess about. He went and he seen it, and then there was an explanation given on the screen why the goal was chopped off, and it was correct, because I thought I'd actually seen it in live play. I thought, that's a foul. And I said to the guy behind me, I said, I think this is going to be pulled back, and he went, no, surely no. And I said, no, honestly, I said that was a foul. As much as we all, the emotion and everything, we want Celtic to win, and you've still got to, stick to the rules. But then you look at, obviously, Maeda. I think that was an element of frustration with the wee man a wee bit. Because previous to that, I think Maeda felt he'd been fouled. But unfortunately, the threshold in Champions League nowadays, folks, you just can't swipe your leg at somebody, whether it's minute contact or it's maximum contact. You just cannot swipe your leg at people. And that's a couple of times now. Maeda's kind of frustratingly tackled someone with a wee bit on it, and it's cost us in the Champions League. He gets sent off against Atletico Madrid over there as well. So whether we agree or we disagree, I thought the one in Madrid was soft last night. You could argue, was it soft, was it not? But you just can't kick out at people. You just can't kick people. And unfortunately, that's why so I think Maeda will be a big loss going into the Villa game. He was, mate. No, 100% he was. But again, mate, you've got to keep your cool. That's part of the game now. These things happen. I think one of my friends last night had says to me, JP, that kicking, you'll end up playing 4-a-side if he's getting sent off for that. But he swipes his leg at the boy. Whether we agree with it or no, the rules are you cannot. Maeda karate chopped him. He was like Big Tong Po for kickboxer, wasn't he? He just volleyed him, man. You just, unfortunately, you just can't. The threshold in Europe is different for the threshold in leagues and domestic football because it's a different way they look at it. And unfortunately, you just can't. You just can't do it. You can't. You can't swipe your leg at that at all. And I think that's why he shook his head as well, walking off, because he knew he'd made a blunder. But listen, it's one of those things. It's thank God it was in a moment in the game where the game was at the end of the game rather than near the beginning. I think, in my opinion, I think there'd be a lot more being said about it. If Maeda had done that and it was just say the first 10 minutes rather than in the last 5 or whatever it was, or 7 minutes or whatever. I know there was 5 minutes added on, but it was the last couple of minutes he was done. It says he was sent off in the 89th minute. So there you go. So there was like 6 minutes or something that we were without him. And that's why Brendan took Kuhn off and brought Big Scalesy on to just shore things up a wee bit. I actually thought we kept the ball. Even in that moment, I thought we kept the ball really well when Maeda goes off. And JP, why didn't VAR take into account the foul on Maeda before he retaliated? Well, he did, mate. So this is where I think a lot of fans get confused, right? So they did look at the two incidents. So they deemed the barge into Maeda, which causes the lad to make contact with Maeda's foot. That was deemed as accidental. I've read about this morning, by the way. But you can't, you just can't swipe your leg at people, mate. You cannot swing. I mean, he rattled the boy right in the shin. Whether the contact was a tickle or it was a full-blown scalp, it's the motion Maeda made. He swung his leg and you just can't do it, man. You just can't do it. So because of the guy's momentum, they're saying it's because of his momentum. He runs into Maeda that causes that foul. And I think it was it running momentum that takes the player to make contact with Maeda. They can't deem every contact a foul, but the swipe for Maeda is so blatant. I mean, there's nowhere in the world you can avoid that. The ref never seen it fully, which is why also he was given a yellow to begin with. And again, that's why VAR was brought into the game to help, because I think the ref's view was blocked. I think it was it Hatati? Someone was in front of the ref at the time and he never fully seen it. He just seen the incident happen and he deemed it as a... But what the ref thought is when the contact's made by the two players, Maeda's then laid hands on him to push. But not only has Maeda pushed the guy, he's also swiped his leg. But the ref never seen the swipe. I think he's thought he's seen Maeda directly pushing the lad, which is why Maeda was fouled. I read about that this morning. So, again, folks, whether we agree with us or not, like I says, the threshold in Europe nowadays is so different to what it is domestically. But, yeah. Yeah, Tony, that's the lad's name. By the way, Maeda gave him a doon last night. An absolute doon. That boy was frightened of Maeda. And aye, Maeda gave him a baton. Yeah, that is. I mean, that's the main part of it. We win, you know. That's the main part. That's what the objective was going into last night's game, to get that win, to give us this cushion going to Villa. Now we can just go and be ourselves, and we've not got a lot of pressure on us, whereas Aston Villa do have, listen, Aston Villa have a lot of pressure on them. For me, Aston Villa had to win the other night. They get beat by Monaco. So Aston Villa now have a lot of pressure. That could also help Celtic going into this game, because Celtic don't have any pressure. Yeah, mate. It's definitely up there. I think big Cameron Carter-Vickers, though, against Club Brugge is going to slightly beat it, mate. That was a beauty. I think you'll see a better side-footed passing goal ever in your life than that one. Tony Cassidy, who should we sign, JP? Well, I said earlier, I don't know when you've joined, Tony. I know you've put in a couple of comments already, mate. I did say earlier that I felt that we should be looking for attacking players. So we should be looking for a wide player. And it looks like now, mate, we're going to need another centre forward, because Kyogo looks as if he could be away. Yeah, I think that's been the object of this window. That's my feeling. I know Kieran Tierney's potentially coming back, and he also gives us an attacking threat as well as his defensive qualities and his tackling ability and his aggression and everything else. But realistically, mate, I was looking for forward players, game changers, people that can come in and help. You know, you look at Kuhn, Maeda, something happens to them. You've really got James Forrest if he's fully fit. Right now he's not, so we're having to depend on guys who unfortunately have missed a lot of football. They're not playing games, they're not getting in the team because of the guys doing well. But now what you want is, because you look at the midfield, central midfield, you can change it, you can bring in McCown, bring in Bernardo, take out Engels, take out attack. You want to be able to do that in the wide positions and still not drop quality levels. So I'll give you an example. So it's been widely reported now that, you know, Celtic are in talks to try and bring Jota back, right? So there's a guy right away that would come in and fit in like a glove and not drop quality. So Celtic wouldn't drop that quality. So we wouldn't necessarily have to then depend on guys like Yang or Palmer or guys who have not played a lot of, you know, guys have not played. And it also helps to give the guys who you're having to depend on more, because of you don't have that cover, Tony, a rest, a break. You know, you can bring out Nicholas Kuhn and bring in other people because you brought. So I'm more looking for more the attack side. I think defensively, mate, we're fine. I think you look last night, the two boys are colossal centre-backs. You add Kieran Tierney to that, again, you're adding world-class quality to your squad, and you've still got Alistair Johnson there. So I think we are... yeah, it's been reported about Jota. Like I said earlier, a good man, Mr. Anthony Joseph, reported that the Kyogo deal was at an advanced stage, and we are in talks with Rennes as a side deal, like I said earlier when I was chatting with Monty, as a side deal with Jota about a potential return. So, again, it's nothing megally concrete, and yeah, just as Glasgow Celts says there, various media now, since Anthony Joseph put it out last night, have now ran the story about it. So yeah, it's been widely reported now, and we just need to wait. But like I said, folks, this is brilliant, this bit, because this is when the transfer window starts to open. This is when things start to happen. Clubs make decisions on players start deciding they want to go. They might not have wanted to go at the beginning, now they do. And yeah, all exciting, but all more exciting because we'll still get, as it stands now, another 3 games left in the Champions League. Could we go further? Could we do it? Could we, who knows? But the next one's Aston Villa next Wednesday, and we look forward to that. But I want to thank everybody for coming on with me this morning. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your Thursday, whatever you're up to. And have a good day. Also, just want to say the Celtic Unrestricted View are doing a live bonus ball. We still have 34 balls available, so nothing's changed in that front from yesterday. Could have been a busy day for folks yesterday, but I'm back on the case today. It is indeed to win this fantastic Joe Muller signed and framed jersey. There is Joe's signature on it from 1989. Great piece of memorabilia. Joe's there with the cup. Nice wee plaque there, telling you it's hand signed by Joe. And the certificate of COA. Now, this was donated to us by a friend of our sponsor, Mr. Alec Beveridge. The bonus ball's £5 a ball. And if you want to have your name attached to it, all you have to do is pay your money into that PayPal that's on your screen now. So it's ryanclifford9@aol.co.uk. If you don't have PayPal, contact us on social media messages and we can arrange another method of payment. I would advise, we did get, I think it was Stevie the other day, and only since that's happened, we now know. So Stevie paid the money on here and donated it into this, which was brilliant. But unfortunately, we have to wait a period of time before we can redeem that money. So if anybody's going to do that, we would advise that you either pay it into the PayPal or contact us and we can arrange a different method for you, because we don't want you to think you've paid and then so thank you. Thanks for joining us also. I'm not always here myself, mate. I do have a fantastic team around me as well. My good man, Mr. Ryan Clifford, Alan Stirling, and we have great contribution from the Sheffield Wednesday captain, Barry Bannon. So I'm not always here myself, mate. So it's just the way today's worked. The rest of the lads have got a busy rota and I had a bit of time, so I thought I'd come on and do a wee chat. So if you are new to the channel, please hit the like and subscribe. It's totally free. It allows you to come and join us when we go live, but also allows you to join the family. And it allows you to continue to give us your thoughts. And but as I said, bonus ball, guys, if anybody's not got one yet, get in touch. I'll leave that banner on for you if you want to pay into that. If you're going to pay into the PayPal, folks, please leave a message of who you are so we know and we can get it marked in. But take care. As I said, Ryan and Alan will be on tomorrow morning again with you for their thoughts on last night's game, and then a look ahead to Celtic's next opponents, which is Dundee at Celtic Park this coming Saturday. And I'll be back on Monday for the phone-in, or the dial-in, whatever you want to call it. I call it the phone-in because it's easier to say that. If anybody wants to take part in the dial-in, all you need to do is messages and we can get you on. What we're also going to start doing, folks, so you can let us know how you feel about this. If any of you want to do this, we are quite prepared to do it. So if anybody has a smartphone or a device, if you want, you can send us in a video of anything at all Celtic related. What's on your mind? And then we will play your video as part of our dial-in episode. If you don't want to come on camera and be live with the lads, if you want to send us a video We'll look through it. We'll make sure it's okay. And we'll limit the video to 2 minutes. So 2-minute video. Let me know what you think before I finish in the comments, if anybody would be up for that. Just send us a video in. You can send it to us on the Facebook Messenger, Twitter messages, Instagram, TikTok, anywhere at all. Or you can contact us and we can try and make that a possibility for you. So this is an idea we've came up with. If some of you might not fancy coming on camera, but we still are going to run the dial-in as well, because we like to give Celtic fans an opportunity to come and have a chat with the lads and also give their say on what they feel's happening in the club. And and who knows, maybe by Monday we might have another couple of stories to run with. And I've always said it, Celtic, there's never a dull moment with Celtic at all. So yeah, let me know what you think, folks, regarding that. But for the time being, take care, hail. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys, and I'll see you again on Monday. Bye-bye.